Okay, we're in section 20, and I just want to briefly go through the Sage code. All right, briefly go through it. And again, what I'm recommending, this Sage code here has something to do with what we've just done. Right now, what did we do? We did implicit relationships between X and Y, basic graphing of those things, finding derivatives, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's take a look at this code. And let me just go to the my instance of Sage and reset. We've been doing this for a long time. Now they define two variables. The variables now are going to be X and Y. They're being defined now. So these are now reserved for being the variable X and the variable Y. All right, Sage will treat them as variables. All right, so I'm going to say, I think I can copy paste now. And I do want to warn you, get this, sometimes you copy paste, you either copy the wrong thing, or when it pastes, it doesn't paste the right characters. But let me read it to you. It says over here, implicit plot. Now, what is this? An implicit plot is going to be a relationship between two variables, X and Y. And I see the relationship, and then they tell me they want that relationship graphed between, the X's go between -1 and 2, and the Y's go between -1 and 2. Well, let's see what it gives us. And it gives me this picture over here. Now, you may remember this picture. It was really kind of the first picture we gave, and I call it the bean. And what do we do with the bean? We drew tangent lines into that bean, and we discussed that. Now, of course, someone says, I don't remember that. Look back over the notes, and you'll see the bean, and you'll see 3 tangent lines to it. Now, something I want to point out over here, a lot of students get annoyed by this. They're not seeing something in this picture over here. They're not seeing the axes, right? They're not seeing them. Where would the axis go through? Well, the x-axis would be here, and the y-axis would be over here. It's not being drawn. Okay, that's fine. Right, you don't need that drawn in. It's really an artifact. Let me do this implicit plot over here. Oops, I'm sorry about that. I didn't do this one yet. And it's different than the other one. I know that. Copy paste. Let me do the other one, and I'll read the code to you in a second. Okay, let's go back and read the code. IP1 is I'm actually assigning it something. And what am I assigning it? A graphic primitive. What graphic primitive? This graph over here. It's an implicit plot between this range for X and Y. And I'm defining IP2 to be another implicit plot, and it's going to be an equation of a line, same range. And then what's this thing over here do? It takes those two graphs, it combines them into one graph, and I want to show it. So when I do IP1 plus IP2, I'm saying, just show me what that looks like. And it shows that. Have we seen that before? Of course we have. It's a graph that we've given you in the notes. I would recommend looking back over it. I'd also recommend going back over the notes and seeing if you can do some of these problems using that technique. Let me give you an example. Right, I'm going to look at this one over here. And again, I'm not going to say it's going to do a great job. I'm just going to say that Sage, by the way, I'm not using Sage in my notes for this problem over here, but I want to see if I can do this problem over here. Let me clear. And I'm going to do an implicit plot. I just hit the tab key. And the reason for that is I didn't feel like typing it all. Implicit plot. I see that. And what's the implicit plot? Let's write this down. Y to the 4th power plus 3. Remember, the double equal signs is I have an equation. 5 star x squared plus 5 star y squared. And now I want to set the x's. I'll say the x's are between, well, I don't know. But I'm going to say between -5 and 5. Again, I have no numbers in that graph, by the way. None whatsoever. And I want to do the y's also between -5 and 5. And again, I'm learning. Whoops. Okay, I see it. Now, granted, someone says, those graphs look different to me. Not really. I'm going to say the only real big difference in these graphs over here is that I don't have the X and Y axis drawn up here. But where would the Y axis be? Right over here. And where would the X axis be? Right over here. It's the same picture. All right. Thank you.